Hey. It's HQ. Today we ran across some craziness, right? It's some wild activity going on all day. I don't have time to report everything. I just want to make a short video. I just want to react to a video that I saw today. Here it is. We want to react to this video right here. Yes, we do. It's called GOP House Turns Against Their Own. GOP Senate before the vote. Before the House vote. Midas Touch is who I'm reacting to.
The MAGA Republicans in the House of Representatives were absolutely livid, I tell you, when they discovered that Republicans in the Senate snuck in a provision in the continuing resolution in this funding bill that would pay 8 Republican senators $500,000 each, at least, potentially even more, but at least $500,000 each for their frivolous claims that they were harmed in connection with special counsel Jack Smith's criminal investigation into Donald Trump overthrowing the results of the 2020 election because there were subpoenas for phone numbers of people connected with the insurrection.
Jack Smith is the guy who investigated Donald Trump and his whole flurry of cohorts during the January 6th debacle, insurrection. He was the lead investigator, the special prosecutor. Now, these 8 or 9 senators got their numbers subpoenaed because they were sympathizers to the January 6th people. They could have been co-conspirators to the January 6th insurrection. So Jack Smith subpoenaed their records. Now, because Jack Smith had to drop that lawsuit, no, not lawsuit, he had to drop the investigation against Donald Trump because Donald Trump got elected. Therefore, that meant all of the document and all of the data that was in that lawsuit was forgotten. But the senators decided that they were going to throw in a provision that said those 9 senators that got subpoenaed during Jack Smith's prosecution of the president back in 2020, they can collect $500,000 minimum of harm done to them because of those, because of the breach of privacy or whatever. So now some senator put it in the bill that just passed the Senate. Some senator put it in the bill. And our senators, the Democratic senators, signed this bill. So therefore, these people are going to get $500,000 apiece for being co-conspirators to the January 6th insurrection. Now, any Democrat that signed off on that garbage needs to be primaried. Nobody should have put that in the bill. What kind of damn provision is that to put in the bill? But it's in the bill that just passed the Senate. If the House takes this out, House takes that provision out, it has to go back to the Senate. And then all of this starts all over again. This is bullshit.
And at least 8 of these Republican senators' phone numbers. It's not like their phones were tapped. It's not like people were listening to their phone calls. Their phone numbers were appearing on a subpoena issued by special counsel Jack Smith. And as a result, they say that they've suffered grievous harm and injury. And they put into the bill a provision that will allow them to sue for at least $500,000.
Oh, okay. So they can sue. They don't automatically get it. That says they can sue for minimum $500,000. Now, seeing as how Donald Trump wants to scam us out of $230 million, do you think they ain't going to allow these 8 senators or 9 senators to scam us out of $4.5 million minimum because of the same bullshit? Donald Trump is trying to sue $230 million because he was investigated for the January 6th. Now, he's going to allow these 9 senators to get $4.5 million out of the whole deal through this budget bill that just went through that we just fought for, which 8 senators, feckless, cowardly, just need to be primary senators, just voted for. They snuck it in. Maybe these goofies didn't read it, but now we on the hook for 4.5 plus 230 million to Donald Trump because of January 6th, and these 9 goofies were January 6th or 8 goofies. This is bullshit, y'all. No. This is what the Republicans do. You're immoral. And now y'all want the American people to pay for the bullshit for January 6th? This is outrageous. These people need to go. Specifically, these people in the Senate need to go.
Let me show you what went down during this House hearing. You have MAGA Republican.
So now the bill is over at the House. So nobody in the House gonna blink an eye because they know if they change it, they take it out, it has to go back to the Senate. And we might start all over again. And if it does go back to the Senate, it fucking better start back over again.
Congress member Scott, here's what he has to say. Play this clip.
And they talk about it being good governance. The thing that I can't get past, though, and this is, again...
And he's a Republican. So he even mad about it. Or I think. Let's see.
I mean, for the American citizens, if you go to page 227 of the bill, limited retroactive applicability. In general, the amendments made by this section shall apply to any acquisition, subpoena, search, accessing, disclosure of Senate data as defined in Section 10A of the Legislative Branch Appropriations Act of 2005, and to any failure to disclose such an acquisition, subpoena, search, accessing, or disclosure occurring on or after January 1 of 2022. So it's given them the ability to retroactively go back. We know, you literally know who, at least, we may not know all of them, but we at least know the list of some of them.
So they can go back, get paid.
In this paragraph, the term violation section 10 is the meaning given to the violation section. It goes on from there. But there's also language in there where it indicates that each account is a separate payment. Now, this language did not go through any committee markup. This language was not shared with the House of Representatives prior to it being put in the bill. And I personally agree that it should be removed. The problem is if we remove it, the Senate, it has to go back to the Senate. And then you're right back to where you were 40 days ago, where all of a sudden you're trying to get a piece of legislation out of the Senate.
Okay, he goes, I'm so upset about this, but what are you going to do about it? Then you have MAGA Republican Congress member Chip Roy. Here's what Congress member Roy has to say. Here, play this clip.
Separation of powers concerns, all the things. We can debate all that. But, we think it was pretty egregious. So I have no problem with the prospect of going after and trying to empower, even through private right of action, a way to go, because we do it in other contexts, consent decrees and other things. But the retroactive, potential to have dollars going to United States senators when we've got American citizens, whether it was J6ers, whether it was people from the FACE Act, whether it was others that have also had the full force of the federal government through the Department of Justice targeting and coming down on them.
Oh, shit. What he basically saying is, why do these dudes in the Senate get to ask for $500,000 and the rest of us can't ask for $500,000? Why not everybody get $500,000? Why we all can't get $500,000? So why these guys special, and these are Republicans who saying this. This is some bullshit, y'all. No, the GOP, I knew y'all was greedy. I knew y'all didn't give a damn about no money. Ooh, this is bad, y'all. This is bad. Change it. Please change it so we can start all over again.
And they're going to see, but you can slide in a provision in here for United States senators? Like, it is beside my comprehension that this got put in the bill. And it's why people have such a low opinion of this town. I am torn also, the gentleman from Georgia, because we need to fund the government and we need to get this passed. And I'm trying to figure out what we can do to force the Senate's hand to say you're going to repeal this provision and fix it without amending it here to then delay the funding of government, which we want to proceed to go move forward with. But that provision needs to get fixed. And we need to find a way as a body to get it fixed as soon as possible. And I'm continuing my explore the options tonight. I yield back to the gentleman from Georgia.
Thank you.
He said he ain't signing the bill. He in the house. The house can't afford to lose nobody over there for this bill. The house can't afford to lose nobody over there not signing that bill. Somebody in trouble.
Scott, would you yield?
I just want to point out it's $500,000, and the way it's written, it is a minimum of $500,000. It is per line.
Now I'll show you what MAGA Republican Congress member Griffith has to say. He goes, "I'm so angry, but there's nothing I'm going to do about it." Here, play this clip.
Mr. Griffith, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I, too, am very concerned about those sections. I will tell you, I've already made the decision that I will vote for this bill and not vote for any amendments because the shutdown needs to end. It's been going on too long. Too many of my people are hurting, and we got to get it. We got to get it done. There's some other issues in here, not as egregious, but at least it was done in the light of day with a vote. But the hemp issues, that was a fight between gentlemen in the Senate from Kentucky, both of them fighting each other. I don't agree with the solution they came up with, but I'm voting for it because I've got too many people that need the government to open. And therefore, notwithstanding, we're going to hear.
Anybody who votes for this bill needs to be primary, Republican and Democrat. Anybody who votes for this bill needs to be primary, Republican or Democrat.
Some great amendments, I'm sure, but I'm not voting for any of them because we need to get this thing done, and then we can start negotiating on other things.
November hits harder than a linebacker. Between the family drama, football brain melt, and turkey sweats that last.
This was embarrassing. I don't even know how they even look themselves in the face and say anything and come to Congress and call themselves representatives to do something like this. I don't even understand how it happens. And I'm embarrassed that this was even on TV. This is sad. This is sad. Hold on.
Perfect.
Democratic Congress member Joe Neguse put a fine point on what the MAGA Republicans were doing and how absolutely ridiculous and offensive it is that while Americans are starving right now, as the MAGA Republicans are ripping away healthcare, as they're ripping away SNAP benefits, this is what you're doing. Here, let's play this clip right here.
Far from haranguing the chairman, I'm given the opportunity for the chairman to explain the meaningful work that he's been engaged in, and I suspect that he welcomes and relishes that. So I want to talk to you about the provision that my colleague from Pennsylvania noted earlier. And this is the provision that essentially allows specifically 8 Republican United States senators to reap upwards of a $500,000 payday with respect to the phone record notice provision that they've added into the bill. You support that provision?
I didn't have anything to do with it, didn't have any knowledge of it.
Not asking if you have knowledge of it. Do you support it?
Yeah. Do I support the bill? Yes. Do I support every single provision of the bill? No.
You don't find this provision repugnant? I think most American people are going to find this pretty repugnant.
I was surprised to see it in the bill. I was unaware of it. It was not.
Why not work with us to remove it?
Let's see what you do.
Well, we've got an amendment.
I will tell you this. I am very concerned, and actually Democratic senators said this. I think particularly of Senator Coons. I am very concerned that anybody, whether they're in the House or the Senate, is singled out and not notified that their records are being subpoenaed. That concerns me a great deal.
And does that justify?
Now, did I know about this provision in the bill? No. Do I think it needs to be in a funding bill? Not particularly. But do I think getting the governments open is important? Yes, I do. But I was unaware of the provision. So,
well, there's an amendment.
So you'd rather give them, instead of letting it go back to the House and let it be taken out and let it go back to the Senate, let it be taken out with a clean CR, because this is what they told us. They told us Democrats don't want to sign off on no clean CR. Why y'all got this provision in there to pay senators $500,000? Because they were on a call log that Smith had in his proceedings to prosecute the president for January 6th insurrection. Now we gotta soothe their feelings because they hurt because they were on a call log. No. See, I knew we couldn't trust you Republicans. We just didn't know y'all were gonna do this. But I don't understand why the Democrats never know that they're going to get screwed over by the Republicans. Why did the snake let the rat get on his back? And why did the snake bite the rat when they got to the other side? Why did you bite me? Said I'm a snake. They're snakes.
That will be introduced.
Well,
I'm not asking a question, Mr. Chairman. Not asking you a question. Let me finish my statement, and then you'll have an opportunity. There will be an amendment proposed to remove what I think is a deeply insidious provision. I think it is outrageous for these Republican senators to effectively guarantee themselves $1 million paydays. Retroactive provision in this bill that very clearly applies to them. The removal of all relevant immunity defenses on the part of the United States government. This is insanity to allow this provision to go forward. And I would hope that my Republican colleagues would join us in supporting the removal of this provision. At a minimum, we ought to be able to find common ground on that. So with that, Madam Chair, I yield back.
Here's how some of the Democratic senators were talking about this. Democratic Senator Chris Murphy wrote, "This is outrageous. Another reason the CR should not pass. It creates a new offense tailored perfectly to allow Trump to write a government check of millions of dollars to 8 Republican senators. GOP leader Thune just made 8 of his colleagues rich off the taxpayer money." And by the way,
they just lied to us. They just lied to the American people. They said, they got a clean CR. Here's a clean CR. 13, 14, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 times we tried to pass this and the Democrats said no. It was a clean CR. And today we find out it has this provision in it to pay 8 senators $500,000 apiece because their name was on a call log. I knew y'all was liars. I knew the Republicans were liars and didn't know how to govern. I just didn't know they were going to do this.
Did the 8 Democrats in the Senate who voted for this, were they aware of this? Were they familiar with what was going down? Did they give a crap about any of this? Democratic Senator Captain Mark Kelly, after Senator Chris Murphy, Senator Kelly goes, "Republican senators slipped this nugget into the CR last night, rigging the legal system to give $500,000 or more to each of them because someone followed the facts and looked at their phone records. That's your money, folks." And again, nobody wiretapped them. Nobody listened to their phone calls. Nobody went through their emails. Quite literally, it was their phone number and the duration of the call in connection with a finite period of time relating to the January 6th insurrection, and that was it. Here's how it was described by the Times. Because the provision is retroactive to 2022, it would appear to make eligible 8 Republican lawmakers whose phone records were subpoenaed by investigators for Mr. Smith as he examined efforts by Donald Trump to obstruct the results of the 2020 presidential election. Each violation would be worth at least $500,000 in any legal claim, according to the bill language. The bill would also sharply limit the way the government could resist such a claim, taking away any government claims of sovereign immunity to fight a lawsuit over the issue. It would remove all of the defenses against that would normally be asserted by the government, providing a clear path just to claim $500,000 each. The Republican senators,
it would be just a blank check, because it says the minimum: Lindsey Graham, Marsha Blackburn, Bill Hagerty, John Hawley, Dan Sullivan, Tommy Tuberville, Ron Johnson, Cynthia Lemis, Representative Mike Kelly of Pennsylvania also had his phone record stripped, subpoenaed, would be eligible because he is a member of the House. This is bullshit. You can never trust them Republicans. I knew it.
who want this money: Lindsey Graham, Marsha Blackburn, Bill Hagerty, Josh Hawley, Dan Sullivan, Tommy Tuberville, Ron Johnson, Cynthia Loomis, and Representative Mike Kelly of Pennsylvania also had his phone record subpoena, would be not eligible because this provision is just for senators. Here's what Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries had to say about it. By the way, what I liked about Leader Jeffries last night is that he took the witness stand as well. And he was, I think, asserting strongly and powerfully the position of the Democrats here. But here's what he said about this provision. Let's play this clip.
House Democrats are going to offer an amendment before the Rules Committee to get that self-dealing sick provision out of the spending agreement. The notion that 8 Republican senators signed off by John Thune and the Republicans, apparently in the Senate and in the House, would give themselves the ability, essentially, to rip millions of taxpayer dollars away from the American people so they could line their pockets because these people were insurrectionist sympathizers, is insanity. And we're going to tattoo that provision, just like we're going to tattoo the Republican healthcare crisis.
We're going to tattoo that shit on their ass. That's what you're going to do. You're going to tattoo it on their ass. I'm going to have an aneurysm. If I was in the Senate or the House, I'd be riding the Republicans till the wheels came off. I don't care what you do. I ain't giving y'all nothing over this bill. They just played you. They just played all of you. All of us. To the tune of $4 million. Minimum.
On the foreheads of every single House Republican who dares vote for this bill.
This is bad, y'all. This is bad. And I am never, ever taken aback that something occurs that the Republicans pull. I'm never taken aback. But we are embarrassed because it always happens with the Republicans. They never, ever tell the truth on stuff. It's always a sleight of hand. They told the American people, the Democrats won't vote for a clean CR. We just want a clean CR with nothing on it. And now we got kickbacks on the CR. And the Republicans don't want to turn back because they don't want to have to debate again. If they got to turn back, if they debate again, those 8 senators better not vote for the new bill. We just gonna have to go back to being on lockdown because we not accepting this bill. We not accepting. And here's the thing. Did they know that this was in the bill when they signed it? Did they know that this was in those 8 senators know this bullshit was in the bill? Oh, we gonna see the details are gonna come out. I can't with you Republican, and I really can't do it with you Democrats. Specifically you ones that were in the Senate. You act like you didn't know what was going on. You didn't know what was going on?